Hey guys, I built something yesterday and I just want to show you what it does and how it works. So here's the problem statement. When you are trying to learn industry specific information like tribal knowledge about any space, the fastest way to do that is to listen to podcasts from people in that space. And that way you get everything that the people who are writing blog articles, content writers, and like there is a lot of delay between content being produced on a podcast versus content reaching LinkedIn or YouTube or just like any forms of content which need a lot of production. So if you want really deep insights and you want to learn about how specific people in an industry talk, space talk, podcasts are the perfect way to do it. And for that, I wanted to ask questions based on a podcast, but there was just no way to get that to happen. So, for example, the podcasts were on YouTube. That meant you first would have to go to every YouTube video manually, and then you would have to extract the transcript and then copy paste all of that and put it into ChatGPT. But then, if there are 150 episodes of a podcast, it's very difficult to do that manually. 3 years ago, what you would need to do is you would have APIs like these, and again, they would cost you some money, that amount of money per minute for transcription. So you run the numbers. You would end up spending maybe 20, 50, whatever amount of dollars doing all of this. And I have tried doing exactly this. When I was 17, I was obsessed with audio recording. I used to record a lot of audio. I used to record everything. I used to record conversations with people without them knowing. So if you had talked to me in like 2017, I'd probably have a conversation recording of that. Since then, I have of course grown as a person, and I don't record audio conversations anymore. But now I have an obsession for Zoom recording. So just record all the Zoom meetings. TLDR. So here is what I did. I built a script to number one, download all of the podcast videos from YouTube. So in practice, it looks something like this. Here we have a podcast, Send It podcast. It's a podcast about retention marketing, right? So I go to this website. I go to this YouTube page and then I just click get copy channel ID, right? I do that. Then I run the first script, which is download YouTube, and it takes a channel ID and then it just starts downloading all of the videos from that specific channel. So it goes something like this, and now it found 160 videos and it is just now downloading all of them. And this takes like I think an hour or two to run to just download all the videos. So it does that. Now everything is downloaded. Then after that, to transcribe it, you want to convert it into an audio, right? So then we have the next step where we just run this command, which is Python extract audio, and I give it the path of where all the videos are downloaded. So when everything is downloaded, it kind of looks like this. So we have all the different videos here, like that, right? We have all the different videos here. So after that is done, after that is now completed, and you run this command, extract audio, it will just extract everything into an audio. So that's now completed. And then you have all of the audio files in here. So you have like 160 audio files in here, right? But if you tried running this, like after downloading the audios, we run the OpenAI Whisper models locally. This means all of the transcription happens on your laptop. If you are on a M1 MacBook Air, you can still run this. You can still run the smallest OpenAI Whisper models, and those are reasonably accurate. You can do that. But if you're on a MacBook Pro, and I'm on a MacBook Pro 3 from a year ago, you can run the larger models and you can run the medium-sized models as well. So you can do all of the transcription on your computer. You don't need to send data to anyone. You don't need to pay API fees. You've already spent 1.5K on your laptop. So now you can just use that to do the transcription. Now, an important thing to note here is if you just try doing the transcription of a podcast, you would just get the entire text. You would not know who is saying what. And that is something which is going to be a challenge because the conversation would not make any sense. The next step that you have to do typically is something called speaker diarization. In it, you take everything that a single speaker has said in a conversation and you just add a label that, hey, this was speaker 1, and everything that someone else, the co-host, has said, you label it speaker 2. So you have now these two speakers. So you could take this one step further and use another small model to identify who said what and add proper labels as well. I didn't do that here, but basically now what you have are these JSONs which have exactly what was spoken, the start and end time, and which speaker said something. So start and end time, the speaker that the text that was spoken, and the speaker that said it. I'm still transcribing and diarizationizing all these different audios, but like after that bit is done, what we will have is a Streamlit app where you could upload all of these and ask questions on them. And I didn't want to build something with LangChain and run it locally on the machine, because then the problem is then you are stuck with of course the LLMs that can run locally, and also a very rudimentary RAG implementation, and not something that will be very production based and robust. So in this case, I wanted something that would give me the highest quality answers without me having to spend like months and weeks building my own RAG implementation. We have our own fully self-hosted custom RAG platform as well, which runs fully on-premise and on the server. But in this case, I just wanted something quick and dirty, up and running really easily. So for that, we use the OpenAI Responses API. OpenAI Responses API is an API which lets you build RAG systems. In a sense, it helps you build systems which you can pass a lot of documents to and answer questions on them. It lets you build them really quickly. You can see the documentation here on the screen and a diagram of it working here. This means you don't need to maintain your own vector database like Chroma or like something else. We used to use them before. You don't need to do this right now for this particular use case. You don't need to separately handle the embedding, chunking, all of that. You don't need to do any of it. You just take your documents and you pass it to OpenAI. And that's the Responses API. Maybe we can go deeper into it in another video, but I use that to essentially allow me to take a bunch of documents like this, like that, open here, and then the documents would be uploaded to OpenAI using their Responses API. So we'll just give this vector store a name, test recording. I'll click create a vector store, then it will just take all my files, send it to OpenAI and vectorize them. And now my vector store is ready. I can of course ask questions here directly and it would answer questions based on whatever it knows. So for example, let us take a look at what we have in the transcript. What is emotional marketing, right? So let's try to do that. I'll just ask it, what is emotional marketing, right? If I do that now, then it will look at it'll just do the RAG thing, pretty straightforward, right? We'll take a look at the answer here. Yeah, exactly, right? So this is now answering questions. This now answers questions based on the documents here, right? So it does that. And now the best part about this is you can just deploy this entire application with a single click. By clicking deploy here, it will be deployed, and you can just take your OpenAI key and give it to a colleague. They enter your key and they are able to see all of the vector stores that are available. So you just enter the name of the vector store, you click connect on that vector store, and immediately you are able to start asking questions based on that specific vector store. So this way you can have multiple vector stores per podcast, per industry, or per problem statement that you are solving. And you can upload as many documents as you want in it, and you don't have that limit that you have in Claude. In Claude, you have this 11% limit, stuff like that. And that really like hampers how much stuff you can upload. This was a RAG where I gave it my own videos from LinkedIn. And we scraped YouTube videos, but you could of course just download LinkedIn videos instead, and then you can have a RAG where you can answer questions, ask stuff based on all your own video content. So I know that most people already have the scripts for the videos that they have made, but then the YouTube and LinkedIn acts like the single source of truth. And this way you get to leverage that without having to go sort through and find all these other things. So for this particular vector store, I can ask it questions based on what were the 3 suggestions given by Ionio to the CTO of an enterprise AI company. I'll just do that here, right? And now it will look through my other set of documents to answer questions. The answers that you're seeing here, these are the exact answers that was given by us in the video it is referring to. So yeah, that's that. So basically what you have is an entire system which downloads videos from YouTube. And you can of course make this so that it downloads videos from LinkedIn instead. You convert them into audios, then you transcribe them with diarization. After that, you use OpenAI's Responses API to basically build that RAG system. Then you have Streamlit UI, which you can use to communicate with the API. And at the end of the day, you're finally able to ask questions based on a YouTube channel. That's that. So in my case right now, transcribing and speaker diarizationizing 150 videos. My Mac is running a little bit hot, but that's what I built. I'm Rohan Sawant. I run Ionio, and over the last 4 years, we have had dozens and dozens of companies with AI. And if that is something you're interested in, please drop me a message.